Alright, so the next thing I'm going to cover is charts, and you can see that I already have a chart entered in here. And basically, you know what you can use a chart for is it's a easy to read image that puts all of your data and your information together. Easy to understand instead of going through all the different numbers. Just get a bunch of information and time reading all within the chart in a matter of seconds. I have a chart entered into my Excel worksheet here, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So first I'm going to remove this chart. I'm going to just click on a blank area inside the chart, and I'm going to click on cut. And okay, you can see that I have our worksheet here, and I'm going to get the data for our chart from this worksheet. Okay, so back in 2013, Microsoft Excel came out with what is known as recommended charts. Basically, Excel reads your data and it analyzes it and recommends a chart for you. Okay, so the way you do that is you can select, you know, any cell within your table or within your worksheet or your range of cells that you want to create a chart for, and right up here you click on the Insert tab. And you can see in the Charts group you have a bunch of different command buttons for charts. Right here is recommended charts. Okay, so you can see Excel recommended the clustered column chart. Now it looks good to me except for one issue, and you can see right here and in our dialog box that there's going to be a it's also including our item total column. So it's treating the item totals column as if it was a month, and we don't want that. So we're going to have to do a little bit of selecting data ourselves instead of letting Excel do all the work. So I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to select the entire range of cells except the item totals column. Now I'll click on recommended charts, and there it looks much better. So I can just click OK, and there we have our chart inserted. Now we don't always have to use recommended charts. Let me get rid of this chart. We have our data selected. We can go to Insert, and we can pick and choose what chart we want if we don't want to use the recommended charts. And you can see it gives us a preview, you know, before we select it. But you have 2D column charts. Some of them are stacked. You have 3D. I always thought 3D looks pretty cool. Or you can have them stacked. You know, basically what that's doing is it's taking your totals for each month, and then it's breaking the bar down, each individual monthly bar, into the totals for each item, and you can see that by the colors, represented by the colors. But you can see, you get the point. There's many different types of charts available. That really wouldn't do us any good. And you get a preview until you find the chart. But I actually like the recommended chart that Excel recommended to us, and usually it does work out pretty good. Okay, so I click OK. Now you can see we have our chart that we're going to use. So once you get your chart, you're not done there. You can format your chart, or you can style your chart. Your charts, when you have your chart, every chart has chart elements. So what a chart element is like right here. That's our chart title. Here, you can see whenever I click on the chart, this will show you what this element of the chart is representing. You can see that in our table over here. You can see that the cells are actually highlighted. It shows you the month. So that's being utilized, and the totals right here. The same thing would happen if I click on our bar. You can move the chart, and you can see once I clicked on one chart element, it highlights what cells are being used. See that? That's that bar is for kayaks. Here's a bar for kayaks. Clicking on the bar for jet skis, and it highlights what cells are being used. Okay, so you can format your chart up here. Once you have a chart inserted, you're going to have a contextual tab. So you have chart tools, you have the design and format contextual tab within it. So here in our design, you can change the colors of your chart. And chart styles. You can change it to represent the maybe the color of the company that you work for, or if you're designing it for a school or a university, use the college colors. But whatever it is, you can style your chart. You can pick colors. You can also pick some pre-made styles up here in our chart styles, and you can click this drop down and continue selecting styles if there's more available. You can also, while you already have your chart up, you can click on the change chart type. But we want to keep what we had. But you can see they're all here in the change chart type dialog box. You can really customize your chart element by element. Okay, so another way to edit your chart is right over here to the right of the chart. You have these quick access tools, and you can add and remove different chart elements. You know, if you wanted to add data labels, you can, but we don't need to. Trend line, which we don't need to. But you get the point. You can just check the boxes and add them in, or uncheck them and remove them. Okay, so there, that looks kind of cool. We have our so what this did, basically we added our labels there, and we have our grid line, and we have basically our table inserted within the chart. Okay, and we can go ahead and we can edit our title, and you can see what popped up over here to the right. We can also, you can format your chart title. You can really format each individual element. We could add a fill color if we wanted to, but you get the point. This is going to come over to this is going to pop out once you click on an element, and it's going to allow you to format each individual element. We can rename our title Sales Forecast 2016. You can also format your axis titles, or you can just remove them. We don't need them. We know what they are, so we removed them. Okay, and then we can keep adding styles. How about that? That looks pretty cool. Let me get back to recommended charts and use the recommended chart, because we actually changed our chart when we clicked on chart type. And there it is. Okay, now you can see how the data doesn't fit. We have our grid lines here, our legend. We can resize our chart. You can just grab these bottom anchors here, handles, and resize it until it fits. You can also move your chart to a new worksheet, and we'll call it Sales Forecast Chart. Okay, and now it's been moved into a new worksheet because you know, it didn't really fit in here. We couldn't look at the data and have the chart. So now we have a separate worksheet for our chart. And there. So it's actually in a different worksheet. Okay, so we've kind of covered a lot. Now you can see here I have a personal budget inserted into the worksheet. And what this personal budget did was it referred to our sales forecasts. So we're assuming that our income comes from the revenues of our personal business, which we've performed a sales forecast for. Now obviously I didn't get into too much detail adding expenses, so I have just the gross revenue as the income, and we know it would be different, but this is just for learning purposes. Let me clear this data. In fact, let me I'm going to clear all content in these cells. So the way I clear content, well, first I'm going to clear all formats. So I'm going to select it, the entire range of cells that has anything in it. I'm going to go up here to my editing group, and I'm going to click on clear formats. So there, I've cleared my format. Now what I want to do is remove all of this content. I'll just click clear all. It gets rid of everything. Okay, so there, all we have is our labels. And in fact, I don't even need this because I was going to add this to the tutorial, but I think it got too complicated for a beginner's tutorial, so I decided to leave it out. Okay, so there we have our labels. We're going to start our budget. So first, let's add some months. It's going to be January, and then actually January 2016, enter, and I'm going to use the autofill by selecting the cell, grabbing the bottom anchor, and using the autofill command to fill it in all the way to December. Okay, we're going to do our income. We're going to refer to our sales forecast for income, so I'm hitting the equal symbol because we're referring to another cell, clicking over to here to our sales forecast, and I'm going to select the totals, the total revenue for the month of January, and there's our income. Okay, now you learned about relative cell reference, so you can do that when you're referring to other worksheets. Since we're dragging it across columns there, and it's the same way over here in our sales forecast, we can just drag it, and it drags the income over relative, because you know the relative cell reference inserts cell reference relative to its location. Those are the same, so it's fine. Let's insert some income, miscellaneous income. Let's say our mortgage is $2,000. Electricity each month is $300. Say we have water of $100. Cable and internet of $150. So we have a truck payment of $500. Insurance of $150. Credit card payments of $500. Fuel of $400. Groceries of $1,000. Miscellaneous spending, let's say $2,000 a month. So you put $2,500 into savings, and we will use a formula or function to get our balance. Okay, so since it's monthly and it's a budget, this is going to be roughly the same each month for our personal budget. So I can select the entire range of cells, and I can use the auto fill command for a range of cells. So there you can see I selected it, and I have my bottom handle down here. I'm going to put my cursor on it, drag it all the way across to the end of the month, end of the year, and automatically filled it in for us. So that saves a lot of time on data entry with that autofill command. Alright, now we'll use our our functions to add up our balance. Okay, let's just say year ending 2015 balance, and that's for our checking balance. Let's just say there's $20,000 in the checking account. Okay, so we're going to go equals the year ending plus the sum of our income, both our income from our business and our miscellaneous income, and we're going to close that function, minus the sum of our expenses, the money going out, including savings, and we close our parentheses, and there we have our balance. Now we can't automatically fill this in because it's referring to the year-ending balance, but we can do the formula over here for February, and we can equals to the month ending January 2016 balance plus the sum of our income minus the sum of our expenses. Okay, and there, and now we can automatically fill this command in, and we're going to use relative cell reference. We're not using any absolute or mixed cell reference. So there we have a budget showing the income coming in, money going out. We have money going into savings, and then we have our checking account balance growing to a considerable amount in a year, almost $300,000. That'd be nice. Okay, now let's go ahead and format this with what we learned before. We have our title up here, 2016 budget. It's in cell A1. I can drag and I can select all cells from A1 to M1, and I'm going to click Merge and Center, and there we have our title. Okay, now let's add some cell formatting. Let's select our months, go up to Cell Styles, and we can pick any of these styles that we want. I'm gonna pick Accent 5, and again we can do this for our categories, and I'm gonna pick the same style, and then we can select we have a title style or a heading style right there. And then let's add some borders down here to the balance, just so we see that it's separate. So I'm selecting our range. We want to add borders, and we can go click on a top and double bottom border there. And then just to distinguish our income and our expenses, to separate them a little bit, I'm going to add a bottom border. Okay, there we have a little budget that we made. You can do something simple like this. Another thing you can do is you could so this is your estimate. You could copy and paste this budget. So I selected the entire budget and pressing Control C. You can move it down below it. You have it there again. And now what you can do is sorry, I accidentally hit the equal symbol. We do not want to be referring to cells. So what you can do is just select your cells and clear content. Okay, now what you would do here is you can make this the actual. So you enter in your actual amounts, and you can compare it to your budgeted amounts, and to follow along. Okay, one last thing, we can format our numbers. Let's select these. These are going to be dollars. Up here in our numbers, we'll just click the dollar symbol, and then let's get rid of these decimals. So up here again in the numbers group, we can remove decimals. And finally, let's resize our budget. There. Okay, and if we want to start entering in items, we could just say like what we actually made. Let's say we actually made 13,000 100, and then you can enter in the actuals. I'm not going to enter each one in. Then you can just enter and say a different total. You spent some money, so you only had 18,000 plus the sum of your income minus the sum of your expenses, and there you have your actual. And then you can make you could do something like spread, add another column, and for your spread you could do the estimated balance minus the actual, and it will tell you your spread. So and actually what may be better is to do your real balance. You can do either one minus your estimated balance, and it'll show you you're making $6,900. You're $6,900 over what you expected. So you get the point. You can do that. You can keep doing that each month, and you'll show your spread. It'll show you whether or not you're ahead or you're behind on your budget. Okay, so the last thing I want to go over, well, not the last thing, but with inserting data anyway into Excel, the last thing I'll go over is Excel tables. So real quick, you can see what I have here is I have some content entered in. What it is let's say you're shopping for a home. You found a list of different homes that you like. You can enter them all into you can put them all into Excel and you can create a table out of it. That way, with a table, you can sort and filter different data, or you can arrange it according to size or price. You know, numerical values. You can arrange the numerical values from largest to smallest, smallest to largest. So the way that you insert a table is you will select your range of cells, your content, and you're going to go up here to the Insert tab, and you will click on the table. Okay, now your Create Table dialog box is going to pop up. This is your range of cells right here. We've selected it. You can manually enter it, but we've already selected it. Now we want to keep this My Table Has Headers checkbox checked, because right here, address, city, bedroom, and so on, these are our headers. We do have headers, so we're going to keep that checked, and we'll press OK. Now I have a table. Now you'll see what you can do with a table. You can style your table. You can select your table. Right here you'll have a contextual tab. You can just scroll your mouse, your cursor over these styles, and it will give you a preview. Of all the different table styles that you can have. You can customize it by, you know, that right there, I selected first column, and it displayed the first column of the table, bold. Last column, you can undo it. Do banded columns. We have banded rows there. We can remove banded rows and make banded columns, or we can remove banded columns and make banded rows. For this table, we don't need a totals row, but you can add a totals row. We don't need it, but you could use it right here. Like, okay, here's our totals row. Now what it did was it found the sum. Now finding the sum of the price per square foot doesn't really make sense in this table, but you can find the average. So we see the average price per square foot is $84.42. So we can look and see what may be overpriced and what may be underpriced. A totals row for our list price, I don't think there's really anything that we would need for that, but we could again use the average. We can see the average home is $147,000. So I mean, you can do it. It wouldn't make much sense here because this is actual content, but you can add a totals row, and for purposes such as this, like finding the average. Now what makes it good is you can sort and filter. For example, let's say we want to only see homes that are in Apollo Beach. Right here in our column, I'm going to click the drop down menu, and I can deselect Clearwater, Riverview, and Ruskin. Now I'm only showing homes in Apollo Beach, and look at our average, the average adjusted. So the average price per square foot in Apollo Beach is 86.76 cents per square foot. And I don't know if this is accurate for that city. I just made these up. And the average home price or list price is $155,000. We can do the same thing. We can remove Apollo Beach, check Clearwater. Now we only have one house there. It's a lot more expensive for that one house, but you get the point. Or we can select Riverview and Ruskin. You see it's a little bit cheaper there. Okay. Or we can just keep them all selected again. Okay, we can only look. Say we want more than 2 bedrooms. We can get rid of 2 bedrooms. There, now we only have 3 bedrooms. And let's say we want 3 bathrooms. So now we only have homes with 3 bedrooms or more and 3 bathrooms. Let's say we have a lot of we need a lot of space. So not really enough in there, but you can get rid of. And you get it. Let's say we want a 3-car garage, and it keeps narrowing it down until we can find exactly what we want by using our sort and filter. Now we start adding items back in. We have to work on the very last cell that we sort and filtered. You can't go back like I did to bedrooms. It's only going to show what's available in that list, but we have to go, if we want to get our table back to where we started, See, the last one we edited was garages. We got rid of 2. We had 3. Well, if we want to get our table back to where we started, we go back. First, we have to undo what we did and sorting. We can just click actually clear filter from garage. And again, clear filter from square foot. Okay, and it all comes back. You can sort largest to smallest. So there you have the largest house all the way down to the smallest. You could find out, let's say we want to know what the average square foot is for only the 3-bedroom homes. It's 8693. I did that by deselecting 2 and 4 bedrooms, now 3-bedroom homes. So it's something that's useful when you want to start comparing like homes or anything else that you want to enter in. Just remember, whenever you sort and filter things, they're going to remain on there. Like, even I only have 3-bedroom homes. I remember I did largest to smallest for square footage. So this is our largest to smallest 3-bedroom homes. We can clear that. And you get the point with tables. This is just an introduction. They can get you can do a lot with tables. So go look online, try to find some tables tutorials in Excel. You can really learn in detail about Excel tables. Some other things I want to introduce to you. You can insert images. You can find pictures online, and you'll have to have an internet connection if you want to do that. And you can just search. Let's say you want to do something. Let's say you're putting together some baseball stats, and you can search for images of a baseball player from Microsoft or Bing Images, and you can just select them and insert them into your workbook. If you're putting baseball stats, you can maybe put this guy over to the right. You can resize them. Or for here, actually, we have homes. I could insert, and I could type real estate. Say you got these from Realtor.com, or you could insert your own company logo next to it, and then when you send it out, you're getting impressions of your brand each time. Okay. You can also, if you want to remove the image, you just select it, right click, cut. And other things, you can insert, word art, like I used. Please subscribe. So you saw an example that was actually used, a real life example in this tutorial. I'm wanting you guys to subscribe, so there I used the word art. You can, to encourage you can insert equations. You can insert shapes. So for example, right there, you can turn them. Send your sales forecast or something, or your budget. If say your budget was off, or you had to change something, say one month in your miscellaneous spending, you had to spend a lot that month. Maybe you're going on a little trip. You could insert a comment there. You can right click on insert comment, and put like Destin vacation. And there you have a comment here. You go over that. Okay, that's why this month is different. That's why we're going to spend more money that month. Okay, once you have your items, you're going to have to save them. The way to save your workbook is click over here on File, and you can save it to the cloud. You'll go to Save As if you haven't saved it before. So you can click on this PC, or you can browse within your files, but you can save it, and you select the folder. You can browse around your folder, and I've already saved this. So I press save. I'm going to replace it. Okay, you can also save it to the cloud, and then on the cloud I have my own files. So you can save to OneDrive. I don't think I have it. I don't think I'm signed in, so it's not going to work. You need to be signed in to an MSN account to do that. And I'm not, but you get the point. You can save it to the cloud. Other things, okay, stop. Other things you can do, you can share it with people, and again, you need to be signed in. You can automatically email it, and you'll need to be logged into Outlook. That's why this isn't working for me. But you can share it, and you'll need to be logged into Outlook. You'll have to have your email set up with Outlook, and you can automatically share and send your file by email. Okay, some other things when you want to print. So you have everything. It looks cool on your computer screen, but how does it look whenever you print it out? You go to page layout, click on orientation. You know, for here, this is probably you're going to want to have it on a landscape. Actually, what would be better is if you go to view, and you can get page break preview. So you can see that if we were to print this out, it's going to break off right there where that line is there, and the bottom of the page will break off there. Again, we can go to page layout. We can see how it would look if I put it to portrait. You can see September to December is going to be print out on another page. That wouldn't look good. You can go back over to view, and then you can see page layout. It's going to show you exactly, when I click on the page layout workbook view, it'll show you exactly how it's going to print out. Now, if you want to get this all on one page, get over to page break view. Try to pull that out all over, but just remember it's going to resize your file, and you can edit everything in here. So I'm selecting those cells because you see how I have the pound signs. That means the numbers are too big to fit in the cell size the way they are. Double click, resize it, and now I can pull this over, and that will print everything out on one page. So you just get over here in view, page layout, page break. We're back in normal. Page break is going to show you where your pages are going to break. Page layout will do the same thing. And I'm zooming out. You can see it'll break it into pages, your worksheet. And again, when you go to print, you're going to file, click on print, and it's going to show you again a preview right here. You can select your printer, all of your settings, and you know, I'm going to have to go into a more detailed tutorial made just for printing, but you have all your options here, and I think a lot of it's self-explanatory. Then you click your print, you select your printer, click to print, and now your file's printed. Couple other things, you can protect your cells. Say your worksheet, say on our personal budget or our sales forecast, we want some security. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on protect sheet, and I'm going to type in a password. This protect sheet dialog box will pop up. I'm typing in a password, and I'm pressing OK, and then I got to re-enter it. Okay, now let's go in here and try and edit something in here. It didn't work. It's protected. Okay, so I've really actually covered a lot in this tutorial for a beginner's tutorial. That sound you hear, that's every time a dialog box pops up. It's basically like a warning or a caution sound. But yeah, I've basically covered a lot for a beginner's tutorial in these two videos. I think after this you're probably more of an intermediate user of Excel once you get very familiar and comfortable with using the features that I showed you. I'm going to put up a lot more tutorials, and I have a lot of detailed tutorials that go into each feature in much more detail, while also showing you a lot more intermediate and advanced features in Microsoft Excel. So please go and check out my other videos. Please share, subscribe, like. We don't get paid to make these videos. I do these, and the one way that you can repay us, they are free to you. The one way you can repay me for these tutorials is just to make sure that you like them and you share them, and it helps with our ranking. The more interaction, the longer you watch these videos, and the more they're shared, and the more views they get, the more watch time, the better ranking these videos will have on the search engines and on YouTube's search page. So please, if you took the time to watch the entire video, please just take a few more seconds to help me out by sharing, liking, and subscribing. Alright, I appreciate it, guys, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you.